Now, depending on what channel I end up putting this on, you may be asking yourself, what the heck am I doing with an obvious BB gun M60? I don't know, but there's Kimber. Okay, so to address a couple of elephants in the room. Well, actually several. This is Dag. He's new. Ish. He's actually like 2 years old. Keep living the dream, buddy. Workshop is new. Everything is new within the last 5 years. What hasn't changed is my opinion on... Hold tight. Is my opinion on firearms. Let me rephrase that. My opinion on the firearms community with YouTube. I am still burnt as hell, jaded. You can call me. That's fine. It's fair. But I'm not really coming back full force into the firearms thing. California still sucks. It is what it is. It's getting better. A lot of things down the mix. But as far as the community in general, I'm just not happy with it. I don't really watch any more gun channels whatsoever. I have no interest. Go out to the desert still. Go rock the life. It's actually a lot easier with this new location that we're at. But yeah. Now, what you don't know about me, or maybe you don't know, or don't care, is that, one, this channel originally started off way back in the day as an airsoft channel.
This is a completely stock Gen 5 Classic Army Gearbox. The only thing that has been done to it is just proper shimming. And this is what you can get.
Well, not this channel, but an actual older channel under Foxtrot 545. But Wolfworks was a idea that I had when I first started working, and after I got out of high school, I worked for an airsoft shop for a little bit as a tech. Played airsoft every weekend, and yeah, I've still been kind of here and there, but over the last couple of years with COVID and whatnot, we slowly started moving more and more to airsoft, given the large amount of space we have now, the legality of being able to shoot each other without causing harm and making us go to work. So yeah, I've been doing the airsoft thing a lot more lately. I mean, it's always been there, but it's come to the point where now you guys are gonna either sit back and enjoy it with me or subscribe somewhere else. It's pretty much it. So with that being said, what we got here, I'm just saying that, is an A&K M60 VN title. Pretty much the original style M60, or at least the Vietnam style, 1960s. Why are we making a video of this? Why am I making a video of this? Well, couple things. Yes, there's like 1,000 videos on what this is. Going into it, yes, it's still a duplicate model, well, internally. A duplicate model of the MK43, 43, 42, I'll annotate it. I'm going to call it the 43. So why, right? Well, if you've been tracking the market a little bit, for those of you who actually do play airsoft and actually like this, if you've been tracking the market, you know that these, along with several other LMGs, they've been kind of hard to get. The supply has been very sparse, and PKMs and other M60s have not really been readily available. Mainly dominated by the 249 series from A&K, Cybergun. The featherweight came out, so that's been pretty cool. My wife actually has one. I kind of dig it for what it is. It's pretty neat. But my heart will always lie with an M60. That being said, if you've ever seen the Facebook, or if you've known me for a while, you know that I've had actually several of these LMGs. It all started way back. I had a Tops M60, and I will post a photo somewhere of over here, me in my dorky ROTC uniform. Anyways, the Top M60, Top as a company is no longer a thing as far as I know, at least not in the US. But they, to me, were one of the first companies to actually have LMGs readily available in airsoft. Dude, you are just not going to leave me alone, are you? So if you remember my puppy dog, Kimber, that's actually her son. He is a golden shepherd. Anyways, Top didn't really make these things one-on-one scale, or not too many features with the actual M60. The grip was correct, but they featured a hopper loading system up top, so it was just big tray, you dumped your BBs in, didn't want to turn this thing upside down or sideways that much, and it featured a bellow piston cylinder system, so there's actually no actual cylinder piston. It was pretty much an accordion plastic tube with a piston back there just kind of providing air. It was prone to breakage a lot. I actually ended up selling it and training it out for a Sistema Magnum gearbox back in the day. All right, fast forward several years ago, got myself an MK43. Wasn't too happy with the performance. The barrel length comes to about right here, if I recall, pretty much right there. It was heavy, bulky. This thing is no different. The difference is I didn't really care for it. I don't know why. It wasn't a modern thing. It was just, I just didn't care for it. It definitely had the M60 style, but not the charm. And it was really inaccurate. Cool. Swapped that out. Got myself a G36 the LMG style. Annotate that somewhere else. And yes, you're just gonna hear me rant for a little bit. Couple PKMs. Those were really fun. I actually kind of regret selling that last one, but I kind of got a new Jeep, and I was more interested in upgrading that. The two channels might cross because this thing is getting mounted on that at some point. But yeah, here we are. So the last elephant in the room that I want to address is I've already been inside this. I'm actually really super stoked. I will tell you for sure this is a next generation model, or at least what hopefully A&K is going to be kicking out. There are several internal upgrades in this thing that I am so stoked to show you guys. And if you were thinking about getting one of these and having to order a Bull Gear hop-up unit, hold tight. Hold tight because, finally, they fixed the hop-up. That was one of the biggest issues that I had with the NK43 was that thing was so inaccurate. And I'll go over why, but they have finally fixed it. So, just like on my other channel, if I haven't plugged myself in yet, it's Lost EMT. That's my off-road channel. Whenever I do an install video, whenever I'm working, because we're sponsored by nobody, and we're going to continue to be sponsored by them. Cheap joke. I'm pretty much just going to open this thing up in between camera shots, and you guys will just get little updates here and there. So stick around, or don't. I don't care. So as far as the body goes, it's all relatively the same. Most of it is Vietnam style 60 era appropriate. Yes, I know there's a Strike Industries comp right there, or oppressor. They don't have the M60 flash hider available anymore. At least I can't find one, so that actually to me looks pretty cool. Nice little substitute. But the only discrepancy I have is this, and while I'm not truly complaining about it because it's not bad, but this is not the original M60 design grip. This is off the MK43. LCT makes the grip. I'm just not above spending $60 for it. It is what it is. The other thing that it does feature that the original M60, to my knowledge, and to my top M60, it does not, this one does have an amber safety, which again, I'm not going to complain too much because I'm left-handed. And you may notice too that the lever here is swapped out. That's because I don't like it. Chubby cheek right there. So one of the first things we're going to actually dive into is the MOSFET. Now, like any of the HMG brand or line LNGs they all feature a MOSFET with an adjustable rate of fire, where you usually, on the M60 MK43, you adjust this little gas port tube thingy. I know I'm offending so many people, but that adjuster rate of fire correlates with this. On the PKM, it's a button, or a 2-button system. my advice, regardless, is chuck them. I have not given this one a fair chance, nor do I plan on it, because it is a pain in the butt to get all the wiring between here and here, and I just don't feel like dealing with it. I'm not going to be running an 11.1. I think that MOSFETs are generally overhyped unless you're doing something special, programmable. Not to say I don't have 3 MOSFETs in my guns or my other AEGs regardless, but in this build, I'm not too worried about it. Yes, I've had experience with this before. I'm not too worried about it. We're running a 7.4. That being said, I'll try to annotate a picture of some other ones. The A&K is different. I don't remember the MK43s being this way either. This looks actually fairly well thought of, right? To where they actually have one hell of a heat sink in here. I don't know if they did this in regards to trying to get this and mount this in here. 2 little screw holes here and over here. Ignore that little one up there. But what that does, these are held in by 2 T8 screws, Torx. And from there, all you gotta do is just unscrew them and this whole thing just slides right out. So then there's a bypass there. I'm actually gonna plop this out. I got rid of the original fuse, which was a traditional, like Maruri style tube fuse. Anyways, I'm gonna take this Tamiya plug off and just put my fuse over there later on. So that's the MOSFET unit. I don't know if it's truly upgraded from the brand. It looks new to me. I don't remember them being like this. I'm still not giving it a chance, so we're going to go ahead and nix that. I'm actually going to probably put that up for sale later on. Moving on to the hop up. So the barrel is 590 in length. I already measured it. It is not a Type bore. I wouldn't expect it to be. But what I was surprised by, a couple of things. One, this barrel looks brand spanking new. A little bit of debris in there, that's just for me actually. That barrel looks brand spanking new. It doesn't look like it's been sitting at some seaport or in the back of some shop for a while. It's actually shiny. It's 6.5, 6.6, something in there, depending on my caliber's mood. But yeah, that's a good sign to me. The other thing that I noticed right off the bat too was this clip. Now, I don't have the clip with me, but I'll show you a picture of it somewhere over here. This clip is definitely different. It's more reinforced, and I'll show you in just a sec. The other little nice thing that I've noticed was, if you can see it, there's a purple little bucking in there. Now, if you are familiar with the old hop-ups, whether it's an M60 PKM or the 249, they don't come with purple hop-ups. They have this weird black kind of snub nose hop-up bucking that it's proprietary to their system, and it doesn't offer a lot of hop, I guess. So I'm gonna actually pull out a another PKM hop-up unit, which is actually the same as this, and we're going to take a look at the differences, and boy am I stoked. The other thing I didn't really notice too is this thing is so much more well refined than the other one. Give me a sec, we're going to break this down and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, without giving too much away, we got the old style hop-up unit here and the new one. You can see it's a little more refined, it's polished, where this is just casted. I don't doubt it's still the same casting, but everything's more rounded out, shinier. The other nuance here is that, so the old style, notorious for being inaccurate. Why? Because, well, this rotary hop up here, instead of pushing your bucking down, I don't have the bucking anymore, but we're going to replace it with this little piece of wire. Instead of it pushing down sideways, right, so that makes full contact, full contact with the BB and the bucking coming down and all that. You know, you should know how hop up works. If not, Google it. This comes down directly vertical, and so your point of contact, well, pick right here, your point of contact is only right here, whereas a normal hop up, you have this full contact with the BB and the bucking nub, about like that. So on the M60, in the all of them were plagued with this, to where this was the only point of contact. So BBs would just go flying everywhere. Consistency was almost non-existent in my opinion, and it was just a pain in the ass. Kind of the reason why I got rid of it, until I found out there was bull gear that converted it to your sideways, which works out really well. They're just kind of a pain to find nowadays. Gee, I wonder why. So this new style, and this is why I say hold off, because I have shot it a little bit, and it surprises me. I'm really happy with it, actually. So the difference is here. The little secrets. There's not a straight hole right there, and I'm gonna take a picture for the Instagram real quick. There we go. What it uses is come on, work with me. Is an actual nub, square nub. And so this top portion right here correlates with the rotary style, or the rotor, whatever you want to call it, the wheel. And that actually puts, because it'd be sitting, well, we're gonna look at it like the barrel's going this way. That actually puts the appropriate point of contact with the BB. Now, I know what you guys might be wishing. I highly, it doesn't even feel like a Promi. It really doesn't. This just feels like your generic, I want to say Mad Bull style. You know what I mean? It's not Mad Bull, but it feels like the same compound. There you go, you can see it. So that's making full contact instead of just giving you this tiny little surface area. So that's a great improvement. I really dig that. I'm so happy they swapped that. Take another picture. The other thing too is on the clip, I noticed this right off the bat, the clip is a lot more robust. Now, that's not actually flex, that's my fingers giving. This thing is rock solid, whereas the other clip, well, retro arms makes a replacement, let's just put it that way. The clip's different. It's got these wings to reinforce the entire area, so I'm kind of getting tired. It's almost 1 o'clock. But yeah, they have these reinforcement wings here to bulk it up. And then everything else is just kind of same ring, same O-ring. And it goes in the same way. It's held in by that single screw up there. So that's the hop-up unit. Super stoked, so jazzed that they fixed that. I don't think I'm going to be using a bull gear on this one. So the one I do have in inventory, I think I'm actually going to end up putting it up for sale soon. So this is working out well. I might see if I can actually flat hop this. I am a fan of flat hopping. I'm not a fan of R hopping, but we'll see. We'll see how this works. And just because I want to try to get this squeeze, then you can see this actually acts as a normal squeeze, as a normal bucking now. Despite my tired voice, I'm actually quite stoked. So finish getting that assembled, and we'll take a look at the gearbox, because there's some nifty little surprises in there too. Now, like all LMGs from them, their gearboxes are usually held by 4 screws. Well, PKM's 2, 249 I forgot, and the M60 is 4. 2 here and 2 on the other side. That's the only thing holding this in place. Oh, right, the other internal thing that I noticed, they got rid of the buffer tube. I don't know if this was specifically akin to the VN style. I know the MK43 had it. I was not a fan. It was just extra weight for doing nothing. I appreciate the attention to detail, but I ended up nixing it anyways. Cool. Normally I don't say use the drill. I have the clutch set pretty low on this one, and it's just nice to speed things up. One all. Get off. And I'm only going to do this side, showing you guys. You guys probably don't want to. Yeah. Pulse. One thing I will note on this side is, despite it being brand new, you can tell right off the bat someone at the factory decided to just take the socket or the wrench, whatever they used, and just torque the hell out of this, because this kept out the paint. Also, whatever this is, probably shouldn't be touching it with my bare hands, but yeah. Oh well. So for those who are wondering, one, just standard fare motor, nothing special. Two, when the dust cover, fake bolt, whatever you want to call it, comes off, it's just held into place by those screws once it hugs the receiver. That comes straight off. Alright, so internally we got a couple of things going on. Externally, it all looks the same. That I'm flat out replacing. I never trust these. And then one of the PKMs I got, this was actually busted. Very standard. Excuse me. Your standard aluminum based quick change system with ball bearings. Now, what can you get away with as far as what type of spring guide? I don't know. I don't have any intention of swapping this out, to be honest, so I'm not going to look into that. Unless the Retro Arms version is significantly lighter, I have absolutely no interest in swapping this out. It does have a little bit of weight, but it's already aluminum. Cool. Alright, so let's take a look. I'm going to go ahead and just pop these off. I want to say, I forgot, I think they're T9. And I say that hesitantly because they kind of look like T's, Torx, but they're not. We'll find out. Okay, so a couple of things to point out here, let me get my pointer, is that unlike the M249 PKM version, they do utilize the same gearbox. Only difference is PKM uses the 3-prong disconnect up front. The M60, however, is a different beast. This one actually uses a inline integrated space holder, whatever you want to call it. It's part of the gearbox, whereas the PKM is actually just a side mount. They can unscrew and take off. So that's the difference between those gearboxes. No, I don't think they're interchangeable unless you modify them somehow and whatnot. I don't even know about the screw placements as far as spacing and whatnot, so I'm not going to check either. As always, shimming is a little bit on the abysmal side. I think that's just a little too close for my taste, and there's absolutely no up and down movement whatsoever. Good thing, bad thing, take it as you will. I have my own preferred shimming method. It works for me. Take that how you will. Go ahead and split this up one-handed. Try to. There we go. And as you can see, we have some goodies here. First of all, let me see if I can pop one of these out. I don't know if these are still the traditional. What do I have to safely push that out with? I don't know if these are the traditional proprietary 8mm bearings, or if it's yeah, no, it's still the same. It's still the proprietary ones. So don't get excited there. And no, I would not try to fit standard bearings or bushings in there. It's just not going to work out that well. These gearboxes do sit a little tight, so some shims, sometimes, so on and so forth. Alright, but we got our standard 18:1 gear ratio. I guess I'd had this thing half cocked. But some cool things, different build. Tappet plate. Piston head is still the same. The nozzle, not my preferred method, but it's like 30 something, 35.5 if I recall. I'll have to look at the video. But here's the cool thing, the piston head. Well, I don't believe it's, sorry, not the piston head, the piston itself. Well, I don't believe it's SHS. I do believe that it is polycarb. Feels exactly like an SHS. And it is a steel rack piston with AOE correction or just your 14 tooth. So that's cool. I'm not actually going to swap that out anytime soon. I'm going to see how well this runs. As for the gears, right now I'm leaving them as is. I'm going to swap those out to 16:1 and just run this as a relatively quick but not super fast LMG build. I'm going to keep the spring, keep this at 350 FPS. I'm not looking to do 500 or 450 or whatnot. What I want is I want to be able to put a lot of rounds downrange without having to blow anything out. I am super impressed though at this. I don't know if A&K is making that their standard across the line, but it's good to see. My guess is, and you know what, never mind, I'm not even going to say that, but because I have no evidence on that one, but it's just one less thing I'm going to upgrade. So out of all this, the only thing that is actually going to stay is the piston, tappet plate, the trigger system, obviously. Everything else is kind of going. The motor's going for 16 TPA. I've had really good luck with 16 TPA rocket motors fitting well into these bodies. Gears, ZCI, that's what's coming in soon. The cylinder, I'm actually just going to swap it out with one of my favorite cylinders I got laying around. The cylinder head, Lonex. Piston head is a Lonex Silent, just to give it a little bit less of a snap, more cushion, just kind of peace of mind. I mean, this is really reinforced and bulked, so I'm not too worried about it. I will port that later on. And just an aluminum brain fart air nozzle. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap this back together. That was just a nice little view for you guys. Some little goodies right there. But yeah, in the original video I did, I was really surprised, super stoked with it, still am. And yes, I would go out on a limb here and call this a updated version. Without much more to do, we're gonna end it there. I'll probably do a test fire video later on. You get that swapped out later on. And yeah, not much more to it. Already got this wired to Dean's. We're set. Alright, so as always, catch you on the next one. Bonus tag clip. Oh, you actually dropped it. Ready? His full name is Taggerone. He is 2 years old. He was a runt of the litter. He is about 85 pounds. His mom tops out about 65 pounds. Dad was no bigger, and believe it or not, I actually had to resuscitate him when he was born, him and a couple of other siblings, but he's doing well. Taggy. He's a good boy. Kimber's still around too. She's just asleep. Oh, good boy. You're my good boy. I don't know how he ended up all black. I guess that's a normal thing with golden shepherds. He's not a lab though. I think he's my good boy. All right. Now for real, we're out. All right.